last weekend, Donald Trump said that he would consider pardoning the January 6th insurrectionists. I don't believe him. He has often said that he would support these people and then he completely forgets about it immediately. But he said that he would do it, and then he has continued on in that vein throughout this week. Take a look at this video.
And some of these people are not guilty. Many of these people are not guilty. What they've done to these, and in many cases, patriots, they're soldiers, they're policemen, what they've done to them compared to what they've done to the other side, you have to have equal justice, and this isn't equal.
No.
So I would absolutely be prepared, and Lindsey Graham doesn't know what the hell he's talking about if he says that, because you have to have equal justice. It's very, very unfair what's happened to this group of people.
Understood.
Okay, so he's pretending to care about the January 6th people, but this is not actually a video about the January 6th people. That is about the point that he just made, which you might have heard from right wingers before, which is you can't have any consequences for the insurrectionists because they just let all of those people with the George Floyd and affiliated protests, they just let them go and there weren't any consequences. That's not true. That's very much the opposite of the truth. And I want to give you the numbers because I'm not sure if we've on the show ever talked about these. We've talked about individual arrests and instances of police brutality during these protests, but I want to give you an idea of what actually happened. In the first 2 weeks of those protests, police arrested more than 17,000 people in the 50 largest cities. So that's not everyone that they arrested. That's just in the 50 biggest places. So they certainly did some arresting. Associated Press reviewed court documents of more than 300 cases that came as a result of those arrests. And they found that dozens of people charged had been convicted of serious crimes and sent to prison. They found more than 120 defendants across the United States had pleaded guilty or were convicted at trial of federal crimes, including rioting, arson, and conspiracy. More than 70 who've been sentenced so far have gotten an average of 27 months behind bars. 10 got sentences of more than 5 years or more. And while there have been people whose cases were dropped, that doesn't mean they were just released and that's it. If they got these what are called deferred resolution agreements, they still had to do like stay out of trouble, not commit any crimes, do community service. They were still being watched and tracked by the justice system. So all of that has been erased by this idea that the only time the justice system has ever cared about protests is on January 6th, Dan.
Yeah, and then you see this other hypocrisy, which it doesn't matter when you point out hypocrisy from Donald Trump, but it does matter when it talks about people's rights actually being taken away, when they're being arrested, when they're being heavily watched, even if they have their complaints against them like being settled or like lowered for different things. This is a major issue. When you're comparing Donald Trump, who was talking about sending the National Guard into places, who actually had them come into I remember that one time there's a hostage situation with someone who they claimed was a member of Antifa, and then they had National Guard or whatever shoot him in his house. That was, there's that situation, and then there's January 6th. So you can't apples to apples compare those.
Exactly. Well, you can't and be accurate. You can if you just want to make your base feel better, and that's why they've been doing it. For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.